Startups don't die because they run out of ideas, they die because they run out of cash. And that's why two of the most important metrics every founder watches are cash burn rate and cash runway. Let's discuss them in very simple words. What is cash burn rate? Burn rate is just how fast you're spending your money every month. Think of it as how much cash goes out of the door to keep the lights on, to pay the salaries, to pay the rent, the servers, the marketing, etc., etc. If you're spending $100,000 a month, then your startup has a cash burn rate of $100,000 every month. It is the rate at which you're spending, basically burning your cash. Now, what is cash runway? Runway is how long your company can survive before the money runs out. The formula can be understood as your current cash balance at the bank divided by the monthly burn rate. For example, if you have $1 million in your company's bank account and your monthly spend or your monthly burn rate is $100,000 a month, then $1 million divided by $100,000 give you 10 months of runway. That's like saying you've got 10 months before the plane runs out of fuel. So you either need to take off, hit revenue, or refuel, which means raise more money. The analogy that I would like you to understand is like, think of it like gas in your car fuel tank, right? Your burn rate is how fast you're consuming the fuel, and your runway is how many miles are left before you hit empty tank. Investors always want to know how much gas is left and how wisely are you spending it. It's important to understand why both of these metrics matter a lot. Cash burn rate and cash runway tell you three important things. One, how urgent is the fundraising? If you've got 18 months of cash runway, then you can plan, you can consider various options of your next funding. In fact, you don't really have to be worried about your next funding. You should rather focus on growing your business. But imagine if your cash runway is only 3 months, then your business is in absolute panic mode because you need to raise funds, otherwise it hits empty tank. Number two, it tells you if the growth is efficient. Let's think of it like this. Burning or spending $500,000 a month is fine if the revenue is growing fast. It's a red flag if nothing is moving. The burn rate always needs to be looked relative to the revenue growth because the burn is actually to spur growth, right? So it needs to bring that growth. The third thing is that it brings in investor confidence. VCs always ask, what is your burn rate? What is your cash runway? Because they want to know if you're being responsible with their money. So here's the trap. The trap is that many founders fall into this trap that they think raising money equals to success. So they start spending big. But if you don't hit the milestone you've promised before the runway ends, raising the next round really becomes tricky. And that's why founders obsess over this metric. And you can see both extremes. I mean, we have both extremes in the world. On one side, there is this popular example of Jeff Bezos, this founder of Amazon, who famously used a door as his desk in the startup in his early days. Why? Because he wanted to save every single dollar for growth. He wanted every single dollar to go inside his business, which basically prevented him from even buying a desk for his office. So instead of furniture, he preferred using a broken door. That scrappiness became a part of Amazon's DNA anyway. On the other side, you find other famous examples. I'm not going to name them, but a very popular shared office space company raised billions of dollars and spent it on luxury offices, over-the-top parties, even private jets, and the burn rate went out of control through the roof. And when the results didn't match the spending, the whole thing collapsed. I guess the idea is that there is no point in locking your company up in the prison of frugality, counting every penny and, questioning every spend, because no company became big just by policing every coffee receipt. But plenty of startups have died because they ignored the burn rate completely. So the point is that you have to strike a balance. Spend money where it fuels growth and control where it doesn't contribute to growth. Now, let's move into another concept, because founders often talk about two types of burn. There is a gross burn. Gross burn means everything that goes out of your bank account. Salaries, rent, whatever's, marketing spend and all of that. While net burn is gross burn, which means everything that is going out of your account minus whatever money is coming into your account, which is spending minus the revenue. That is your net burn. So if you're spending, let's suppose $200,000 a month, that is your gross burn. But when you account for $80,000 of revenue coming in, then your net burn becomes $120,000. That is the number that investors really care about because it shows how much you're actually burning on a net basis from the bank. Now, to recap the cash burn and the cash runway story, what we have said is that burn rate is how much you are spending every month, while cash runway is how long your cash will last. Both are survival matrix. It's not about being cheap, it's about having a balance. What we have also talked about is that investors will always ask about your burn rate, not just your gross, but your net burn rate. Remember, Amazon started with a door desk. WeWork crashed. Where you land depends on how wisely you manage your company's burn rate. So the next time you hear an investor ask, what is your burn rate? What is your cash runway? You'll know what they're really asking for. How fast are you burning the fuel, and how much road do you have left to cover? Till next time, take care.